Having had years of sitting on the bench at Manchester City, Cole Palmer's move to Chelsea at the beginning of the 23-24 season has proved to be a great decision for his career. Since then, he has become a domineering figure for the Blues, being directly involved in over 40% of their goals. With over 30 goal contributions in the current season, challenging for the most goal contributions in the whole league, the Englishman is the favourite to win the Premier League Young Player of the Year award and one of the contenders for the Golden Boot and Player of the Season awards. It came as no surprise that at the Chelsea annual awards night, Palmer picked up the Chelsea Player of the Year, voted for by the fans, as well as the Players Player of the Year award. What a great season he's had. But how did penalty politics turn Chelsea FC into Cole Palmer FC? Palmer joined the Chelsea team on the 1st of September 2023, and he claimed penalty duties just 36 days later on the 7th of October. He walked into a new team as a young player, having just been forced out of his childhood club, and took on the penalty duties like it was his birthright. This shows something more than ability and talent. This shows bucket loads of confidence, bordering on perhaps arrogance, a very important and possibly undervalued trait in a footballer's mentality. The way Palmer commanded himself, it's not surprising the way he perfectly executes every time. He takes penalties with the utmost calmness. Daniel Sturridge piled on the praise after one of Cole Palmer's penalties, saying, "For those 2 minutes and 41 seconds before the penalty, it was like he was in an igloo. He was just cool, calm and collected." However, there have been challenges to his authority. In a 60-second scuffle after a penalty was awarded in a Premier League game against Everton, in which Chelsea were already 4-0 up and Palmer had already scored a hat-trick, Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson were both demanding to take the penalty in order to, help their own stats. Conor Gallagher, the captain, had to step in and tell the two players that Palmer was going to be taking the penalties regardless of the score and situation. The two angry players stormed off, throwing their hands in the air in frustration. Palmer then stepped up and, of course, slotted it home. Chelsea coach Mauricio Pochettino wasn't pleased with this display. "I can't accept this kind of behaviour," he said. He also clarified that Palmer is the penalty taker. The penalty taker is Palmer. It's Palmer who needs to decide if he wants to give the ball to a teammate, said Poch. But how did a young player who'd been at the club for such a short period of time demand such authority and responsibility over the more senior players at the club? Palmer's season has been a shock to all. His great displays were always possible had he always shown glimpses of greatness in his few appearances off the bench at Manchester City, but nobody saw stats like these in his first full season coming. Not even Guardiola, one of the best coaches in history, envisaged this. If he had, he definitely wouldn't have sold the young genius at the beginning of the season. Palmer left Man City in search of playing time. In a January 2024 interview, Palmer revealed that he had intended to never leave Manchester City, but however, the club refused to let him go out on loan for a year, instead saying to him, "You either stay or you get sold." This influenced Palmer's exit in search of regular game time. Then in February of 2024, Pep took full responsibility for Palmer leaving. He said, "For young players, we always want them to stay, but this is normal. After 2 or 3 seasons, he wants more minutes than he had the last season. I understand completely. When players have the minutes that I didn't give him, for reasons everyone knows, the players were too good, but we know the quality he has, and the impact he's shown this season is enormous," Guardiola said. "It's not just goals and assists, it is quality, and we know it. He's an incredible threat for Chelsea." But without a doubt, Manchester City's reject Cole Palmer has emerged as one of the Premier League's brightest young stars this season. Chelsea manager Pochettino even urged his players to prove that they are Chelsea FC and not Cole Palmer FC ahead of their London derby against Arsenal when Palmer was sick in April of 2024 before being thrashed 5-0 with the Blues registering just 1 shot on target. So how did Chelsea FC actually turn into Cole Palmer FC? Well, to find out, we must rewind a bit. Cole Jermaine Palmer is an English professional footballer who plays as an attacking midfielder and winger for Premier League club Chelsea and the England national team. He was born on May 6, 2002 in Manchester, England. Palmer joined Manchester City's academy at the under-8 level and moved through the youth ranks at the club. He captained City's under-18s during the 2019-20 season and helped the side win the FA Youth Cup, scoring in the final against Chelsea. Palmer's exceptional skills and tactical awareness were evident from the start. He impressed coaches and scouts with his dribbling ability, vision and knack for finishing. In the 2019-20 season, he was named among the substitutes for the Manchester City senior team on 4 occasions, but made no appearances. Palmer's first team debut came in the 2020-21 season, when he started in the Carabao Cup 4th round against Burnley. His first senior goal was a year later, when he struck against Wycombe Wanderers in the same competition. He also made his Champions League debut in the 2020-21 season, but played just 8 minutes. Interestingly, on the day Palmer was making just his second Premier League appearance for Manchester City on October the 16th against Burnley, Palmer found himself playing and scoring a hat-trick for City's under-23 side that same night. In the 2021-22 season, he scored his first and currently only goal in the Champions League, playing a total of 3 matches. He also played 4 matches in the Premier League during that same season. At the end of the 21-22 season, Palmer was displeased with his lack of playing time, and it was at this time that he must have voiced his concerns over his playing time and pleaded with Guardiola to give him a chance. And Pep listened, a bit at least. In the 22-23 season, Palmer established himself as a regular in the City squad. He made 25 appearances across all competitions for a total of 850 minutes and ended the campaign as a Premier League, Champions League and FA Cup winner. Now, many of those games included late substitute appearances, although he did have a key role to play in cup victories over some of the biggest sides in the country, and he featured throughout the run to the final in the FA Cup. Now, during the 22-23 season, he played a total of 14 matches in the Premier League, starting twice and making 1 assist. He scored his only goal of the season in the FA Cup against Burnley. So at the start of the 23-24 season, immediately before his move to Chelsea, he scored in both the Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup, so things were looking up. But still, Palmer was not satisfied with his minutes. He wanted to be a regular starter at all costs. His lack of playing time led him to move to Chelsea. On September the 1st, 2023, Palmer signed for Premier League club Chelsea on a 7-year contract with the option for a further year. There was no doubt as to why Chelsea were interested in the youngster. Having dominated youth-level football, Palmer's dribbling ability and eye for a long-range shot would have caught the eye of any manager in the world, including Mauricio Pochettino, who's famous for focusing on talented youth players. Being a young player moving to a new team, not much was expected from him. Don't get me wrong, he was expected to play well and help his team win trophies, but no one expected Palmer to completely take over the team. The 23-24 season has ultimately been disappointing for Chelsea. After all, they spent more than $400 million at the beginning of the season and really have nothing to show for it. Not just that, they didn't win any trophy, and also they're finding it hard to qualify for any of the European competitions. All in all, it wouldn't be too much to say the season has been a bit of a disaster for the Blues. However, Cole Palmer stands out as a phenomenal player in the side. After Palmer joined Chelsea, there was speculation on whether he would have a permanent place in the starting lineup or would he just be part of the squad, but nobody saw him as the main man of the team. Sky Sports pundit Jamie Carragher admitted Palmer's new status. He's a major part now in this Chelsea team. He almost feels like the main man, Carragher said. Palmer made his Chelsea debut coming on as a substitute at home to Nottingham Forest 1 day after his signing. His first start came in his 4th appearance, a Carabao Cup win over Brighton, with his first Chelsea goal scored from the spot just a couple of weeks later. Since scoring that penalty, Palmer has sealed his position as Chelsea's first-choice penalty taker. His first 4 goals came from the spot, including a stoppage-time equaliser against his former club, Manchester City. Since then, Palmer has taken 9 penalties and scored all of them. Only Frank Lampard has converted more penalties in a single Premier League season for Chelsea. Palmer's record from the spot has already seen him match Jorginho's best season, and he's now closing in on Frank Lampard's club record of 10 penalties. So good is Palmer's penalty record this season that he scored more Premier League goals from the spot than 18 of the 20 top-flight clubs. Since joining Chelsea, the youngster Cole Palmer has taken on the role even veterans run away from. He has successfully completely taken over the team. He doesn't just take the spot kicks, he also takes free kicks and corner kicks. This is phenomenal responsibility for such a young talent. He is simply spectacular. Do you think Palmer will keep this up next season? And maybe with the help of his teammates, lead Chelsea back into European places or even silverware? Let us know what you think in the comments section, and we'll see you in the next video.